What's up for today, guys? This is SetonMagic, and today we're going to talk about Rakan, one of my most favorite hero in Wild Rift. First things first, if you guys want to skip this introduction, just look for the timestamp in the progress bar, or you can look it in the description down below. Well, I haven't really played LoL PC so much. I think I'm only level 30 with less than 20 heroes. I can't even play rank. What I'm trying to say is that I learned the heroes mainly in Wild Rift, and what I'm about to tell you guys is mainly how I understood the hero. I'm only a Diamond with max Diamond 2, and learning Rakan is somewhat above normal. Not that easy, but it's not super hard. All I can say is that it has a learning curve. I do only have 51% win rate with 300 games, but I started with him at around 30%. At 100 games, took a while for me to raise it up, but because when there's a new hero, it was I think released a few months ago, that you like to practice, we never do it in practice mode, we do it in rank. And it's not very recommended. I know 51% is not that a good win rate, but I hope my tutorial will help you guys out as it helped me as well. So, let's start. Let's talk about his skills. Fae Feathers is Rakan's passive, and it's very similar to Malphite's passive, Ironside. The main difference is Malphite is based on his max HP, while Rakan is based on his AP. And also, every hit you deal with your enemy reduces its cooldown by 1 second. This includes Grand Entrance and Quickness. So if you made a 5-man Grand Entrance, that is minus 5 seconds, or a 5-man Grand Entrance with Quickness, that is minus 10 seconds. So it's really recommended to utilize this in engagements that we will be discussing later. Also, Rakan's second passive, which is Lover's Sleep. It's a simple passive that lets Rakan and Shaya recall together. Next, we have Gleaming Quill. Gleaming Quill is Rakan's first ability. It is a skill shot that deals damage and gains HP on the way back. It can also be used on epic monsters like Baron or Dragon. One more thing about Gleaming Quill, and I believe it's not written on the description, but every time you level it up, it gains more range. Level 1, its range really sucks, and it doesn't really make sense for you using it for a skill shot. Most likely you'll get more damage from the enemy for you trying to use it. So it's more recommended to use it with Grand Entrance. Next, we have Grand Entrance. This is Rakan's second ability. This is basically like Malphite's ultimate, but a weaker version. This is also your main tool in engaging fights. It dashes forward and pauses momentarily before knocking off enemy heroes, but this provides a little bit of time for the enemy hero to use their flash or react to your engagement. Next up is Rakan's third ability, Battle Dance. This is what makes Rakan very hard to catch. This ability allows Rakan to latch to allied heroes and provide them shield based on his AP for 3 seconds. You can also cast this twice within 5 seconds with no delay. You can use this ability to go in and out of fights, which makes this ability very powerful as it gives shield to allied heroes and also makes you very unpredictable in a lot of situations. When used with Shaya, Battle Dance's shield doubles and have a lower cooldown. Lastly, we have Quickness. This is Rakan's ultimate. It provides a burst movement speed and charms enemy heroes on contact. The first enemy hero on contact will reduce his movement speed by 100%. You can also charm once per hero, and you will see a marker on top of the enemy hero so that you won't need to memorize whom to charm. Quickness is a very powerful ultimate as it can be utilized together with your skills. For example, you can use Quickness together with Grand Entrance to have a more secure engagement but less crowd control as it will top off on one another. This also makes the enemy heroes clump up more and may provide a better set for your team. You can also use Quickness and use Battle Dance to an allied hero, which makes an enemy hero on the path who will also get charmed. Whenever using Quickness, try moving backwards. Since it's a charm, this will make an enemy hero move towards you. Hence, moving backwards will give a difficult time for the enemy hero to fall back. As for the skill order, I do have a particular build for Rakan on this guide. Since I forgot to tell you, we are focusing as an AP Rakan. So first, we max out second ability or the Grand Entrance, as it is really our go-to engagement and no explanations needed. Next is where a lot of people debate, but for this specific build, I always max out ability 1, or the Gleaming Quill, because it gives more damage and sustain to your team, plus you'll understand why when we get to the item build. And lastly, we max out the Battle Dance. The reason why is because for me, having more heal sustain is better than having a shield that only lasts for 3 seconds, even though you'll be having more mobility with Battle Dance. For the ultimate, level it up when you can. You'll feel the max out Gleaming Quill, especially on objectives like the Baron or the Dragon. You'll see your teammates' HP going up, plus you can poke a lot of people with the max out Gleaming Quill with its super long range skill shot. Even if you're with Xayah, I still have a 60-40 chance of still maxing out Gleaming Quill rather than Battle Dance. So here's the rundown of my skills for Rakan. So let's talk about your starting items, your item builds before the Dragon timer. So first things first, you might want to buy is either a boots or an amplifying tome, the one with the plus 25 AP. In this case, most of the time I get the boots, but if you feel like being aggressive in the early stages of the game, you might want to rush Hextech Revolver, as this will give you a boost in damage and AP. And it is also recommended if your enemy is on the squishy side and doesn't have a lot of sustain in their arsenal. For your boots, if crowd control is not an issue, you'll always go for Lucidity boots. Redeeming Chan is my go-to upgrade, and Solari is also a good option, as well as this saves people from bursts from the enemy. Battle Dance plus Gleaming Quill plus Solari plus Heal is just a really good sustain to your team. Your core items or your 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th slot items is where it just differs from time to time, because usually the game just finishes before you even buy your 5th item. You might want to consider looking at what goes best for your team or against your enemy with AP items. For starters, you can go to standard AP and charter items like the Ardent Sensor, Harmonic Echo, and Holy Grail, as this gives a good amount of AP and focus mainly on supporting your team. But if you guys are a bit ahead of goal, and having a good time, after the Hextech Revolver, I go for Rod of Ages, as this will boost your AP and stats over time, then buy Rabadon. If your enemy has a lot of healing potential, you also might want to consider buying Morelonomicon after the Hextech Revolver, then Rabadon. The reason why I'm considering Rabadon as your 4th item is because most of the time, by this mark, usually around 17 minutes more or less, the game's already finished. So you don't usually get your 5th item here. Unless the game continues around 20 minutes, then probably you might want to consider some of the recommended items. Here's a simulation comparison of full AP versus full tank Rakan with Hextech Revolver at around 17 minutes, and probably you are level 13. Here also shown each and every stat that is given for his skills from his items as well as the damage. The shield is not very visible as the HP of the dummy is just too high. Also take note that there is some small discrepancy in the AP as Rod of Ages maxes out over time. Plus, the Gathering Storm is also progressing over time, and I made this in just a few minutes. So the AP shown is not 100% accurate, maybe at least 90%. So here's the rundown of items for Rakan. Let's talk about runes. Well, my minor runes are a bit odd one. It's not what you usually see on other players. But for the main rune, with the new changes in the patch 2.3, I usually use Font of Life, because it gives a lot of sustain heal to you and to your allies. Plus, it scales with your health and AP. For the minor rune, I use Gathering Storm. As time progresses, your AP progresses, which means more damage, more heal, and more shield. There are actually a lot of choices for you to take. You can go for Bone Plating, Conditioning, or Adapt Carapace. But for me, what my go-to minor 2 rune is Hunter Titan, because it gives you max HP of 120 health, which benefits from the Font of Life, plus 20% tenacity at max stats, which makes you less susceptible to crowd control. And lastly, we have the minor 3 runes. I only go for Hunter Genius, nothing else, as it gives you a big cooldown reduction for your skills, which means you'll have faster engagements and a better chances of winning. So here's the rundown of my runes for Rakan. So let's start with the combos, but before proceeding, there is an important options in the game wherein pressing the skill will either move with your direction button or on the enemy champion. And this is called the dash in move direction. Take note, having this on, if you press Gun Entrance without dragging it, it will follow where your direction button is pointing. If off, it will follow the enemy instead. So it's recommended to have this off. So we're going to assign each and every skill of Rakan with respective letters in the keyboard, just like in the PC. So Q for Gleaming Quill, W for Grand Entrance, E for Battle Dance, and R for Quickness, for us to understand it way easier than saying the ability's full name. The first combo is the EWQ. Use this to finish up enemy heroes who are low at HP with your long range skill shot.
Slain. Shut down.
My horizon.
The next combo is the EW Auto Attack Q and E. Use this to skirmish with your lane without taking too much damage from the enemy. This combo will heal you and your ally.
Gotcha.
The next combo is the REW Auto Attack Q and E. This is your go-to combo with your ultimate while still having a safe way out of the fight. The next combo is the R/W Auto Attack Q and E if needed. This is a very fast engagement that could make enemies caught off guard, usually done to engage on objectives or for sneaky pickoffs. The next combo is the REE/W Auto Attack and Q. This is your all-in engagement, usually done when you're at the back of the fight and wanting to be in front to catch enemies in a matter of seconds. This might be hard to pull off as the enemies might be 1 or 2 screens away from you, but once pulled off, it will be one of the highlighting moments for your Rakan. Take note, using quickness in the first place is not mandatory. Use it anytime between engagements. This will provide maximum crowd control in team fights. What I mean about maximum crowd control is this next combo, EWR/AA Q and E. This is your maximum crowd control engagement with your ultimate. As you can see, quickness is right after I used the Grand Entrance or the W, so that the cooldown duration of both crowd control will not top of one another, thus providing maximum CC. So let's talk about matchups, the good ones and the bad ones. So first, let's talk about the good matchups. I really like picking Rakan when there is no mobility or hard seizes on the start of the team. It just makes Rakan very slippery and very hard to catch. Here's the incomplete list for you to consider when picking Rakan. So we have Nami, Braum, Sona, Soraka. And for the ADC we have Jhin, Jinx, Miss Fortune, and Ashe. For the bad matchups, I really hate when I see Kennen and Wukong on the other side of the team. It's just that they really destroy your engagement as a Rakan. So if you see them, don't pick Rakan. If you pick Rakan before them, just spray. Yes, just spray. For the ADC, I really hate picking a Rakan when their ADC has a lot of mobility or big pokes. For the support, I also hate picking a Rakan whenever they can disengage you, or supports that have an annoying pokes. These are not the complete list, but here are some of the champions that you might want to consider when picking Rakan. So we have Janna, Galio, Lux, Ezreal, Xayah, and Tristana. So here's a question for you guys. Aside from Xayah, who is the worst and best champion on the other side of the team when picking Rakan? Comment below your answer. And lastly, for the laning phase or any phases of the game. Well, I really can't say anything about it. I believe it's really up to you as a support player. I think it's on you on how you're going to position yourself throughout the phases of the game, how you're going to roam, and where you're going to engage. I don't think I have that much of a knowledge for me to share it to you as a player. To wrap things up, I think I have shared with you guys most of my knowledge as a Rakan player. And I guess that's all for today, guys. Please do like and subscribe with my YouTube channel. Please do watch my Rakan montages. please do leave a comment if you guys find this tutorial helpful or not. Guess that's all for today, guys. Thanks for watching.